Could it be that the state of life fades, but the state of existence begins to be fully lived in a way that is incomparably deep and sophisticated? Just to envisage it this way, that your body after the final expiration of air will somehow be united to it, while your consciousness in the meanwhile will be on the other side of the physical realm in the unknown spiritual dimensions of existence. What happens to the soul after death? When we die, do we go to the divine, or do we get reincarnated forever, or is it something unknown? Let's see what's in the video, where we will try to get a clear picture of what really happens after our death. Over these centuries and among many cultures and civilizations, humans have always been curious to know about the death and the fate of the soul. The question of what happens after death, ranging from the time of ancient Egypt to Tibetan mysticism, has been the most emphasized question, and it has both frightened and attracted the people. The soul, that part of ourselves we say lives forever, is said to be also going through areas left unexplored before the death. But where does it stay after the death? Does it just become a part of the universe, or does it experience something much more complex? It is this time that we make our way through the ancient tradition, the philosophy of the ancients, the mesmerizing world of mystical insights to the root of the very secret of the transition from life to death that remains unnoticed. Historical and philosophical perspectives. Ancient Egypt, the afterlife as the next stage of life. In ancient Egypt, the death was imagined as a different, longer part of the journey of the soul, and not as the end of it. According to the Book of the Dead, the soul would be subjected to many trials while journeying through the underworld. With the help of the deities, the soul would eventually be taken to Osiris, the god of the afterlife, who would pass judgment. If the soul were judged honorable, then it would go to the fields of reeds, a heaven of sorts. But when the soul did not deserve that, it would undergo a terrible torture. Hinduism and the cycle of reincarnation. According to Hinduism's beliefs, death is nothing but a ripening period between two embracements of matter by the soul. In the Bhagavad Gita, the soul is portrayed as eternal, and death as nothing more than the departure of the body from the soul. The soul gradually goes through the process of birth, death, and rebirth, while learning, evolving, and growing spiritually. This cycle, which goes by the name of samsara, will never end until one achieves moksha, the spiritual freedom from cycle of rebirth. Buddhism, liberation from samsara. Likewise, Buddhism posits on a continuous rebirth as proposed by samsara. The soul's karma plays a significant role in the path of life, meaning that what one does along the life journey determines the soul's fate. The primary goal of Buddhism is to attain nirvana, a state of permanent tranquility that puts an end to the cycle of life and death. The Bardo, Tibetan Book of the Dead. In the Tibetan tradition, the Bardo is the time in the middle between death and rebirth. At first, the soul entering this realm would be often confused and disoriented. The Tibetan Book of the Dead presents the visions of the divine and the demonic. It is through this encounter that the soul is reminded to choose a better path and push up its conscious awareness in order to avoid being reborn and to be enlightened. Theosophy of Western mysticism. The theosophical concept of the traveling of the soul after death in Western esoteric traditions is explained in different approaches. Many theosophists, for example, theory that the soul escalations by means of diverse levels of existence, with each level being one of purification and reflection that is experienced. The main point is the return to the higher planes of consciousness and the rejoining with the divine. The soul's journey, a deeper exploration, purification, and reflection, the veil of forgetfulness. After a person's death, the soul enters the veil of forgetfulness. This is a point in a soul's life when all recollections of its past earthly experiences disappear. Consequently, it can proceed with purification. This phase is based on the assumption that the soul becomes detached from earthly pleasures and concerns and is allowed to hit the refresh button for the second time. The soul can utilize this period of time for personal and spiritual growth, review of its past actions and experiences, and clearing out the remaining regrets or attachments, ascension to higher realms, crossing dimensions. After passing through the veil of forgetfulness, the soul ascends through various dimensions of existence. Each dimension signifies a higher consciousness level, offering growth, wisdom, and understanding at each step. As it crosses these planes, the soul meets spiritual beings who guide and comfort it. Encounters with guides and spirits, insight from the beyond. Many near-death experiences include the presence of figures of light or deceased loved ones. In either case, such figures are experienced as guides by whatever names used, leading the soul into an understanding of afterlife reality. These experiences comfort the soul even as a reflection on its life's purpose. They provide lessons the soul may never otherwise learn. Judgment, self-reflection, and karma. Through many traditions, it is also believed that during death, there is a sort of judgment, this time through the soul. However, instead of a judge, it has to pass it on to himself. It will be a stage for self-reflective observation of all one's actions in life and its decisions. There it may become very critical in the sense that the consequence of good or bad work in the past will decide upon the next destiny of the soul. Rebirth or ascension, transitions to a higher plane of existence. The future of the soul is a matter of lessons learned and decisions made. To some, this equates to ascension to the higher realms of existence where souls merge with the divine, forever in a state of eternal peace. Others might be reborn, reincarnated into life on earth, for another chance to continue on their journey toward growth, learning, and spiritual development. The cycle of samsara, reincarnation and continuation. Reincarnation is the most important doctrine in many religious traditions. By the law of karma, all actions and decisions made by a soul during one life determine their next incarnation. Souls are considered to return to earth in a new body and face new problems, learn new lessons, and solve unresolved problems from previous lives. Transcending the cycle. Moksha and nirvana. The aim of many spiritual traditions is to transcend the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. In Hinduism, this is called moksha, and in Buddhism, nirvana. Both represent the soul's liberation from the material world and return to pure consciousness, free from the constraints of time, space, and form. Tapping esoteric wisdom for personal transformation. Living consciously, aligning with your soul's journey. To prepare for the soul's journey, one must live with purpose and consciousness. Mindfulness, compassion, and kindness will create positive karma that will guide your soul toward liberation. Meditation, for example, helps you connect with your higher self and provides clarity on your soul's path. Soul retrieval practices. Healing and rebalancing. If you feel disconnected or spiritually imbalanced, soul retrieval practices may be beneficial. These ancient methods aim to heal fragmented aspects of your soul and restore harmony. By engaging in such practices, you can prepare your soul for its journey after death, allowing it to face the transition with clarity and peace. Lucid dreaming and astral projection. Readiness for afterlife life. These techniques in the form of lucid dreaming and astral projection can guide a person through the astral world, getting one ready for afterlife life. These practices let you have hands-on knowledge about the spiritual dimension, hence assisting you to maneuver the afterlife with insight and wisdom. Conclusion. Reflections on the journey of the soul. The fate of the soul after death remains one great mystery. Its path to other planes of life or a repeated existence on this earth continues endlessly. A living consciousness with respect for one's higher self could assure a peace, growth-filled journey to enlighten one's soul. Take a minute for yourself and consider your spiritual path. Is that what your soul is for? Start by making contact with the higher self to prepare the journey of your soul. Subscribe for more information, wisdom, and insights in exploring the mystery of life and death.